Go live.
Are we live?
We're live. We are live.
Are we live?
From the WTF1 podcast. Friday night.
We're live from Tommy's Dungeon. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special, very special, so special, I haven't even loaded up the comment section. So special Friday podcast, which isn't actually going on the YouTube channel. How lucky do you all feel? This is
You're the only ones that get to see our beautiful faces.
proper content. Oh, wow, Tommy. Welcome. Oops, I just loaded it up and then heard your amazing laugh again. So sorry for that, everybody. For
Did it echo through like 3 times?
No, it was just you going, and that was great. My internet is not down. Wait, why are people saying is Matt's internet down? It's fine, isn't it?
No, I think people were just
bantering.
because we were just bantering because we were
late.
But that's tradition.
30 people watching. You are all very, very lucky because this is not going on the WTF1 YouTube channel. It's going on audio though when we eventually start. But welcome everybody. Hello Eve. Hello Formula Frosty. Hello Chris Cassells. Hello Stuart Pennick. Simon Baker. WBBF Gaming. A Logic Official, and so on. Right, what are we doing today then? We are talking about the Qatar Grand Prix, the incident. Let's talk about it. Then following the Stewards, do you think it was yeah? Thoughts on the track? I love it. Could Hamilton's engine explain in the last 3 minutes? Which teams? Okay, and who do you think will take? Okay!
Lovely stuff.
Lovely. Watching this whilst doing an online lecture. Good luck, Hannah. Good luck to that. Best way to spend an afternoon. Hopefully we don't put you off too much. Max flag gone, Tommy. Yeah, where's the cape gone?
Oh, yeah. I was playing guitar earlier, so I had to take it off to get the guitar, and then I've not put it back up. Don't worry, I've not.
I think you should be wearing it in this podcast, actually. Actually, if
so,
he wins
Tommy,
the championship...
Tommy, what do you think about the incident? I want a really non-biased perspective from you while I'm wearing a fucking cape.
You have to wear it if he wins the championship. I bet you'll wear it in the final race of the season if it's a championship decider. Come on, you have to.
Okay, I will.
Yeah, good lad. Okay, and to be fair, then your jinx will probably get activated. Do I want that? No, I don't, so don't wear it.
No, we've got a lot on the line. We've got Shumi's record.
Come on, Verstappen. No, but I'm a Hamilton fanboy, aren't I? British bias. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, now my internet's having a fit. I'm sorry for that, Abby. R.I.P. the Lion Cape. Hello, Vims.
Okay, I'm going to...
Recording in progress.
Do you want me to record as well, or CBA?
No, it'd be all right. It's only audio.
This is the one time it I nearly
my screen bit. No, actually, do record just in case. Why not?
Okay, record.
Katie's not here now.
Katie is not here. She's got
busy
roadworks and doing
annualing
the WTF1 annual. So yeah,
busy being a WTF1 author.
If you haven't already purchased your WTF1 annual,
this is going on audio, so you should probably just say annual is amazing. By the way.
Is amazing, by the way. There you go. That's it. Even though it's not actually finished yet. Oh, it's amazing.
Okay,
all you Team WTF1 lot, have any of you pre-ordered yet? I asked this before, and some of you said yes. Yeah. Some of you said no. You get £3 off if you're a Team WTF1 member.
Cheeky discount.
So a great Christmas present if for yourself or for someone else, because no one else does it like us. You know what I mean? Right. Should we do this?
Let's do it.
It's very calm, composed. It's a Friday. It's just a calm before the storm. This is not IBR, Matt. This is pre-race podcast, Matt, which is much more calm. Okay, Tommy.
Audio only podcast, Matt.
Oh yeah,
that time when
and the people. Yeah, hello everybody, welcome back. Okay, let me stick you down there. Lovely. Here we go then. I don't know why. I was about to do loads of hello everybody, but no one's going to see it.
I was waving in the last one as well.
No one's going to see it. So I will buy the annual if Lewis wins, says Vims. Stuart's already ordered his. Thank you, Stuart. Simon said he'd no last time. Oh, perfect. All right, I'll just go eat my last words then. Izzy Hollingsworth, not yet. I'm a broke student at the moment. It's fine. Don't worry. Just reminding you if you do want to give it to someone as a present or yourself. Right. Here we go, Tommy. You ready? Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the WTF1 podcast, audio only edition. Wow.
Oh,
for only all of our audio, Spotify, Google Play listeners, wherever else we are. Tommy, where else are we? Not sure. Either or. Let's do a different intro. That's a weird one. Here we go. Oh no, my chair's making a noise. Here we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the WTF1 podcast. Audio only edition. Yes, we are ready for the Qatar Grand Prix. And for those audio listeners, you've got a special little podcast right now talking all about what's been going on over the last few days and also what's to come. Some questions as well from Team WTF1 members and just normal viewers as well. Firstly, before we dive into it, let's talk about the annual. We've released a WTF1 annual. Should have probably introduced you, Tommy, who's a part of this podcast. Katie isn't the WTF1 author, as she is now.
People won't be able to see.
No.
It's just me.
Yeah, it's just you and me and you. So, the WTF1 annual, we've basically launched. It's going to be coming out, obviously, after the end of the season in terms of releasing it because we need to finish the last few races. But it's an amazing thing that we've done for the first time ever, isn't it, Tommy? Paperback.
Yep, the author is busy at work, hence why she's not here.
Is it technically paperback? I'm not sure. No, it's not. It's like hardback, isn't it?
Well, it doesn't exist yet, so I'll find out.
Oh, no, we're doing this again. Okay, here we go. I said paperback, and I worked at WH Smith, and I was like, it's not paperback, Matt. I'm pretty sure it's going to be like solid, like solid.
I don't quote that, so maybe don't say that.
I just, anyway, cool. You can see this is going really well. ASMR Matt, says Chris. Right, see, look, this is what Team WTF1 members get, the outtakes, which everyone definitely loves. Okay, here we go. Let's try again. Third time lucky. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the WTF1 podcast, audio only edition. Yes, if you are listening with your ears, you have got a very special podcast. And joining me for this pre-Qatar edition is the WTF1 founder, Tom Bellingham. Give us a round of applause. Woo!
Hello.
Hi, Tom. You looking forward to this? I called you Tom. That's really weird. I never called
you Tom. It does sound weird. No WTF1 author today. She's busy doing the annual.
Doing the annual, yes, which is something that we need to mention because if you hadn't heard already, we've launched a WTF1 annual, an amazing Christmas gift for yourself or one of your loved ones to cover the entire F1 season in a WTF1 way. That's what I meant to say. Clearly, WTF1 comes before F1 in my head, but it's an amazing thing. You've got lots of things going on. I've seen the inside of it already, and it looks unbelievable. So go check it out. The link is WTF1.com/annual. There you go. Easy peasy.
Nice and simple.
So let's dive into Qatar, shall we? But first, actually, before we do that, it's technically Qatar because it happened today. The Mercedes review has been rejected.
Dun, dun, dun.
Is it really, though? That would suggest that we're surprised that they weren't going to.
True.
What did you think, Tommy? Did you enjoy that particular opinion of the stewards?
I enjoyed that they dropped it right in the middle of Toto and Christian Horner's press conference. So they literally found out as they were doing the team principal press conference together. So I guess if we go all the way back, my opinion didn't change because I guess we've not spoken since the mysterious Max onboard appeared, and that's what seemed to trigger this Mercedes thing of, well, now we've seen the onboard, we think this should be reviewed. My opinion didn't change based on that. I still thought Max was too aggressive, and the fact that he went off the circuit was his own fault, but they should have done something about it. They didn't, and in my opinion, I'm glad that they didn't do anything after the race, because while I think it was a minimum of a black and white flag, or maybe them telling him you need to give the position back, I don't think it was extreme enough, or I don't really like it anyway when things get decided after the Grand Prix, because you can drive in a totally different way. Like Verstappen knew he didn't have a penalty, so he wasn't thinking about the gap to Bottas and how much penalty he's going to get. And, if he'd got a 3-place grid penalty, that's really harsh because, if he would have got a penalty actually when he was meant to, then it probably wouldn't have affected his race at all because he could have just given Hamilton the position back rather than sort of him losing out again in this race. So I'm glad it wasn't reviewed because I don't really like them doing it after the race. And the fact that we didn't even find out FP1 from the next race, I think is absolutely ridiculous, personally.
Completely agreed. Yeah, it was a very weird one, wasn't it? Because as much as it's like Mercedes aren't appealing, it's a completely different thing to that. It's all very much one of the same, in my opinion. Like Mercedes are trying to start an appeal for the incident, right? You know, as much as it's not appealing, but it's appealing what the decision of the stewards was, and they wanted them to review it based on new evidence. But either way, I'm glad that it wasn't, a penalty wasn't applied to Max for this race, because it would just open an absolute can of worms. And, I did think it was worth some kind of punishment, what Verstappen did. And of course, that onboard, just like you, Tommy, if anything, further suggested that Max was in the wrong. But then, you need to close that book by the time we get to the next race. We can't be leaving it open and then, between FP1 and FP2, they then decide. So for me, Mercedes even came out and said with Toto that they weren't even necessarily expecting anything from it. They just wanted to make crystal clear what was allowed for these next 3 races. And I think there's going to be a lot of controversy from here on in, because that incident will be used as an example when the teams debate for the next 3 races, potentially into next season as well, unless more clarification comes. Not that I've seen much clarification from the stewards as to what's allowed and not allowed still. It's very much like, incident, by incident. It doesn't really, there's not a clear-cut thing again, which, I'm not surprised at all. But yeah, it's a difficult one to kind of digest as a Formula One fan, because I was expecting some kind of clarification and you're allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do this. But instead, it doesn't seem to have happened, does it?
No, I don't. I kind of don't feel like we'll ever get that. And while I do get the point that is given a lot of the time, where it's, well, every incident in Formula One is different, some you can quite easily compare. And when the stewarding decisions are so different, I think you even put it on Twitter something, and I thought exactly the same, that, well, Lando pushed Perez off and Perez pushed Leclerc off in Austria into a gravel trap and got a penalty, even though they made the corner themselves. And then in this situation, Max ran Hamilton wide, didn't make the corner himself, but because it's runoff area, it's okay. Yeah, it's one of those things where, yes, every different incident can be treated different, but yeah, it's going to be a bit dodgy. And I still stand by my point that, and I guess people think it might be a bit hypocritical, because I'm like, I don't want it to be a penalty because I don't like it being decided afterwards, but I still stand by the point of, this now sets a bit of a precedent into, like you say, the last 3 races, when the championship is being decided, that you can squeeze every little bit out of the rules, I guess, of what you can do. And they might be a little bit more lenient with Verstappen and Hamilton, because they want it to be decided on the track and not with them having to make a decision about a penalty.
Yeah, I also wanted to, whilst we're on the topic of all of this and the incident, apologise to Saluki Boo, who was the user that submitted a question last time, basically suggesting, will they investigate it? I think the question was, is there any chance that Max Verstappen might have a retrospective penalty once all data is received? And I think we all sort of shut that down, like, no chance there's going to be anything happening from that. So I apologise, because it wasn't quite the case. Of course, no penalty did come, but it was.
Mercedes gave it a good go.
We weren't expecting Mercedes to do that, were we, Tommy? But they not
after they did a tweet saying, we want this title battle to be decided on track.
Yeah, win it on the
One
track.
Day later.
Yeah.
They're all as bad as each other. I mean, fair play to, I think both of them admitted it, Toto and Christian Horner, in the press conference, that they're like, they just admitted, well, of course we're biased. We are gonna, and they're so hypocritical. They're like, oh, well, we're not going to protest, but then Red Bull did protest at Silverstone, and then they've Red Bull are trying to protest Mercedes wing, and Mercedes are like, oh, that's not cool. but Mercedes protests Red Bull wing in Baku. And of course they're going to do it. They're all as bad as each other, and Drive to Survive it going to absolutely love it. And they're with them both this weekend, which makes me think that they've probably just dragged the stewarding decision out. So the Drive to Survive team could be there with a camera in their faces when they announced it.
Oh, dearie. Well, no, to be fair, when they announced it, they had just normal cameras in the press conference, didn't they?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was covered one way or another. Next question. Team WTF1 member Mutz82. Following the stewards rejecting the Merc appeal, do you think we'll see a change of approach from the drivers overtaking for the rest of the season? Well, Charles Leclerc even came out and said that if Max Verstappen isn't penalised, he will change his driving style. And I think the last time he said that forgive me, I don't have every single quotation he's ever said since Austria, but when Max Verstappen...
I don't believe that, you've got it on your wall.
Yeah, I do, to be fair. No, so this is a Schumi shrine, not a Leclerc shrine. That's in my bedroom. So... he said he's going to change his driving style because he felt like Max Verstappen deserved the penalty for that driving, and of course hasn't been penalised. So I wonder. I think it will set a precedent, a precedent for the drivers for the last three races. 100%. If you can push your opponent off the track if it's deemed that. I don't even know. I genuinely don't know where the stewards saw Max as being innocent enough to not get a penalty from what he did. He didn't make the corner. Lewis didn't make the corner because of Max. A lot of people seem to suggest that Lewis wasn't going to make the corner either, which I don't believe in the slightest, because you can see that he was very much in control of his car, tried to turn in, then Max was straight up his inside. So there's clearly some sort of allowance if there isn't a gravel trap that drivers can just make a mistake or be a bit late on the brakes and just usher their opponent wide. It's crazy.
That's the thing with the fact that Mercedes wanted it reviewed, and rather than it being a case of the stewards come out and going, no, we're not going to review it because Max did this. We've checked the steering wheel and blah, 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 and we checked the racing lines from every single lap, and it was just, no, you're not having it reviewed, sorry. Jog on. So that's...
Yeah, I saw that part in the stewards.
They said jog on. They didn't really. For anyone that believes all our sarcasm constantly. The thing about Leclerc, I think, were you going to say that he may have said that in Austria when he got punted off by Verstappen?
When they were fighting.
Yeah, in 2019.
And then literally, I think it was Silverstone. Wasn't it the race afterwards?
Yeah,
he was then just punting Max left, right, and centre.
Yeah, he was being very aggressive. Then, of course, he did not too dissimilar to Verstappen Leclerc's experience himself of pushing Hamilton off the track to try and win a race in Monza. So, I think I saw those quotes from Leclerc. I think it was more just I think the headline made it sound more like he was going to be well, I'm going to push people off now. But I think it was more him just saying, well, when I find out the rules, we have to move based on that kind of thing. I think he said it a bit calmer, but it is interesting that, like you say, drivers will now look at. I think McLaren even spoke up about it because they were obviously the ones that got shafted a little bit with Lando in Austria, and I think a lot of the teams and drivers now would be okay, got a bit more leniency. And then it gives them, when they do get a penalty, it's going to be interesting to see if the stewards do now go down this more lenient route with other people, not just Hamilton and Verstappen because they're in a title fight.
Yeah.
That's one interesting side of it. And two, if the teams can kind of use that as an example now to use as evidence to be well, it's nowhere near as bad as this, or it's about the same as this, and that didn't get even looked at, never mind it didn't get considered to be a penalty, never mind be a penalty. So it's added, I guess, more spice into the
I don't mind that it wasn't penalised to some regard, but not even investigated. That's
at least have a look at it.
That's the problem, especially when it is a championship fight. I feel like they almost felt as though Hamilton was the quicker car. He was going to get through at some point. So they were like, nah, just let them race. It's fine. Which is
Yeah,
fine.
he'll get past eventually.
If that's the tone we're going to go with, that has to stay that way for everybody. That can't just be, as you say, for Hamilton versus Verstappen. So anyway, we move on.
I think a lot of people have said that if Max had won the race, this would be such a bigger issue, and I think they maybe even would have investigated it. But it was
crazy,
almost,
isn't it? That's literally
but then it goes
into
exactly,
account.
and it goes back to this thing that we say every time of, do you take the consequence into it, because that's what they didn't do, and I guess kind of what Red Bull wanted with Hamilton in Silverstone, that they gave him a penalty, took the penalty, drove through the field, won the race, and then Red Bull were like, well, you've got to give him a worse penalty because he won the race. It's that kind of thing, like you can't after the fact like change it based on circumstance, but I guess they do.
Yeah, not good. Right, move on. That topic is finished. Done.
Let's get
close the book.
Let's
talk about Qatar.
After practice. Let's talk about actual
Qatar.
running.
Yeah, let's talk about the track itself. Of course, we made a preview video on it, kind of giving you guys some information about the Losail circuit. And now that we've seen the cars out on track, a lot of dust, a lot of track limits. Of course, the stewards, I think in FP1, Michael Massey was like, I think he was speaking to Jonathan Wheatley, wasn't he? And going, they're just, just find your feet. Don't worry. We'll chat about it after FP1. And now it seems as though they're going with the edge of the curb everywhere is the track limit, which for me is quite a lot of wide moves, right? That doesn't look like they're staying on the track all too often. So very odd. And again,
that's what people want, though, surely.
Consistency for the stewards is that, if you're just a punter, and a Drive to Survive first season watching, other tracks, the white line is the track limit. This track, the edge of the curb is the track limit. Why? Why?
And even more than that, that some tracks it's like we only care if you go off at turn X.
Yeah.
But this track, it's suddenly everywhere.
How are they going to police that as well?
But then. That is, in a way, that is kind of what people have been wanting forever. And with this whole track limits thing of just saying, well, if you go off the track, it's a track limit warning. But then I will say now that I am, and we've seen it before, that they'll probably go off a lot in FP3, moan that the track limits are difficult, even though it's like, just stay on the track then. And then they'll probably change the rules and say, oh, actually, no, we'll just do it for this turn or whatever. But I think Jenson Button was saying on commentary that it's actually it's quite a difficult track to stay within track limits because it's so flat and the curbs are so flat that you can't really see a lot of the time where you're placing the car, which is, I guess, something that
2 meters of
punters will
change.
never understand when we have the nice external view of, just stay on the track then. But when you're in a cockpit and you can barely see your front wheels,
2 meters of elevation change. That's all it is around that track, which is, I mean, it's all down to because they used to have MotoGP there, right? That you don't really have that huge amount of elevation change with MotoGP riders. So, yeah, it's a great point actually about the Jenson's made about not being able to see the exit curbs. But yeah, I guess maybe that's where the leniency comes from. But at the same time, just drivers will learn. They know they're literally, the top tier motorsport drivers in the world. They will do a few laps and they'll know where to push it and where not to. But either or, that's the rules for this weekend.
I'm pleasantly surprised by the track. I don't know if it will be very, very good. I'm not 100% sure it'll be amazing for passing, but from like the first watch of practice, I can see why Daniel Ricciardo got straight on the radio and was like, this is fun, because it does actually look like a really fun track to drive. And
Let's see if he says that in the race.
Yeah, when they can't pass. But I guess the way it's very flowing, there's not a lot of heavy braking zones really, and it's quite quick. Maybe it will do something. I know a lot of the modern circuits have almost gone that way now, particularly Jeddah, the next one, where the philosophy is, well, if you don't brake and have lots of slow speed corners, then you can just slipstream and follow each other. But whether that's going to be the case, I don't know. But I thought it looked quite a fun track. I think qualifying is going to be really cool looking, and also I I'm terrible for it because I'm always like, oh, I don't really like the gimmicks for the show and all this kind of stuff. And I remember like thinking, and then when it got to night, I was like, oh my god, this is so cool! Like all the sparks flying.
It transformed.
It looks quicker. It looks quicker at night.
It gave me very much like Bahrain short vibes. Like it's very much that, isn't it? Or just Bahrain in general, to be honest. But obviously a lot quicker.
With Bahrain short, it has that where they don't really slow down very much.
They have one real. I guess you have a hard braking zone into turn 1, hard braking zone into turn 6. But then the rest is very much sort of medium, high-speed corners. And, I mean, traffic tomorrow is going to be huge. There's going to be a lot of difficulties there because as much as, it's a 1 minute 24 lap or something like that, when you've got drivers going around at an average speed of like 245 kilometres an hour, those gaps close very quickly. So it could be very interesting, Q1 and Q2, to be fair. So we will see about that one. Raish _ comes in with a question: could Hamilton's engine explode in the last 3 races of the season, considering it being turned up to 11 for the whole past weekend? There is that potential. I think Mercedes have, they've said that they are pushing that engine to the absolute limits, and if it does explode, they'd like it to explode before the race, I assume, so they can take a penalty, whack in another one, whack it back up to 11 and win the race from there. We will see.
The old engine undercut.
Yeah, the engine undercut, as Tommy's come up with. It's a brilliant phrase, but we'll see. It doesn't seem like they're pushing the end like too much right now in terms of, because they can still alter their power modes in free practice. When we get to qualifying in the race, that's when we'll probably see whether they've decided to dial it back up again for this weekend. Seems as though they are there or thereabouts at the moment, and maybe Red Bull struggling a little bit.
Not Gasly though.
Gasly's just a beast, isn't he? And Tsunoda as well.
Yeah, I'm ready to be hurt again. It does feel like it feels like because he was very good at Bahrain, wasn't he? And obviously there are similar characteristics. Does feel that way. So yeah, I did think he was very, very good. And let's hope that because he has been like quite quick in practices sometimes, and then when it's sort of crunch time, it hasn't really paid off. But yeah, AlphaTauri looking more like what they were in Bahrain when I think there was a lot of hype that was they could genuinely finish, maybe even be up there with Ferrari and McLaren going for third. So yeah, back to that again.
Mazepin didn't run at all. I was just looking at the FP2 results. He didn't run at all in FP2.
Yeah, he had to change his chassis with damage. The curbs, actually, not really mentioned the curbs, but I think everyone thought track limit's going to be horrendous. The curbs are so flat, everyone can just run wide. And actually, they seem to completely obliterate the cars.
Yeah, especially some of that sort of white diagonal sort of line just past the curb. Yeah, that's where they properly, I think it was turn 14, was it? Like towards the end of the lap, that was properly munching the cars. The pit entry is going to be interesting as well to watch, because they actually race into there before then turning on the pit lane speed limiter after that right-hander, from what I understand. So
it's not pit lane speed limiter, then a
not
turn.
Like Sochi, I guess you could probably call that sort of thing, where you're on the pit limiter before you do that right-hander. This one is you race into that right-hander, which could spell
There's time to be gained. That seems very old school. It wasn't that uncommon back when I started watching Formula One way back when, but now it's very much like a lot of the tracks you just come in, pit limiter straight away.
I guess it's similar to Nürburgring.
Abu Dhabi, are they on the pit limiter after the bit that goes under the track? I think they go off the pit limiter.
They come off the pit limiter
under the McDonald's drive-through thing, and then back out
just before, I think. So they literally just come out the pits, then pit limiter off, and then they race through that tunnel. But I think
I remember everyone saying that was going to be such a big thing, and then I think one person ever has gone into that wall. So we'll see.
It's so true. It's probably similar to Nürburgring now that I come to think of it, the F1 track there, where how you race into that right-hander, but maybe a bit tighter for Qatar. But yeah, Bottas was looking very quick as well, wasn't he, at the top? It's going to be another weekend where Bottas turns up. Let's see. But that's going to be crucial. Because all he has to do is beat Verstappen and let Hamilton do his thing if he can, although Lewis looking pretty slow. Next question. I say slow, I mean he's fourth, but still lacking a little bit of speed compared to Bottas.
Hamilton, and I took it personally.
Yeah, HRB.
Pole by a half second.
Yeah, you best believe it. HRB 27111. Which team looks the strongest on this track so far? Mercedes looks strongest. But then again, we don't know what power modes they're running and whatnot. And of course, there's lots of arguments going on as well. But it seems as though Mercedes, like we probably expected, a little bit ahead. But it doesn't seem to be as if it's going to be a full-blown domination. But we will see. FP3
now until
will be
they put the Giga engine in, we'll see.
Exactly, yeah. FP3 will be a better sort of representation, maybe. Although FP2 is probably is closer to qualifying in terms of times. Than what we'll see tomorrow for FP3, which is much earlier in the day and obviously a lot hotter. So, yeah, going to be very interesting indeed. You got any more insights on that, Tommy, or is that pretty much it?
That's pretty much it. It does look like at the start you were kind of every comment we had when I said it was Verstappen first, Gasly second. People were like, "Oh, Mercedes, not sandbagging, not turn their engine up," and then Mercedes. According to the AWS graphic, which is, of course, always right, they were half a second clear of the field. So we shall see.
We will. One final question at Shra1506. Who do you think will take the pole? The pole. I think pole position will go to Valtteri Bottas.
So do I. And I also have a theory as to why.
Oh, go on then.
Because we're going to absolutely jinx it, because there's a very interesting stat that we've just put on the website, which I'm going to make a graphic of and post before qualifying tomorrow. And that is that every single new circuit since 2010, so there are 7 of them, every pole sitter wins the title. And it would just be our luck that we post that and be like, oh, whoever's getting pole here will win the title, and then Bottas gets it. And I think he's mathematically out of it now, so can't. And it will ruin that stat. So I'm saying Bottas as well.
Oh, is Bottas out of it, finally?
Is he technically out?
Just having a look. Yeah,
mathematically.
He's very much out of it. He's on 203. He's 129.5 points behind. Yeah. So he's been out of it for.
I keep forgetting there's only 3 races left, because it does feel like the season. It just is a continuous thing that's going on forever because there's so many races. But
I feel like we'll roll into next year. We'll go back to Bahrain, and it will still be the same season. That's how I kind of see this happening. Middle of December is the final race. Crazy stuff.
Whoa.
Tommy, final thoughts? Yeah. For audio listeners, you would love to see Tommy's face right now. Team WTF1 members are getting an exclusive live YouTube video.
I will say
exclusive thing
that it's lovely to be joined by our Team WTF members in the chat, because I do enjoy
WTF members. Did you just call
WTF
us WTF? No, you didn't say one.
Did I not?
No, you didn't. That's an absolute disgrace.
Right,
the founder is over.
I'm going to hand in my notice.
Thank you, Tommy, for thanking the Team WTF1 members for being here. My final thoughts are: it might well be very difficult to overtake on Sunday, but I think qualifying tomorrow will be awesome to watch, and track limits may well decide who is on pole position, because there's a lot of places you can.
Oh, I can't wait for more stewarding reports. I can't wait for that. I really hope that someone cuts the track and then we have to wait all day, and they announce that actually we're going to make the decision tomorrow, and then
decision on Monday, and then
they do the whole race under appeal.
Yeah. Oh, God, you joke, but I'm genuinely scared we might get to that, but we move. Anyway, thank you very much, Tommy, for your time. As always, thank you to the audio listeners here, the Team WTF1 members watching us live on YouTube, and we will see you, tomorrow for a qualifying watch-along, Sunday for Internet's Best Reactions, Monday. As you've probably noticed on YouTube, we have got videos going out every single day, so you are very welcome. Go subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you very soon. Goodbye.
Bye. Lovely. Lovely stuff.
Lovely stuff. Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you have come and joined along for this lovely little Team WTF1 ting. Boss is firing himself, says Michael. Katie is the true founder, says Izzy. Tommy, final thoughts, Tommy, and then it's just the eyes and mouth thing.
I saw that. I try not to laugh during the outro.
Amazing. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that little podcast. Just making up for the Monday chaos of my internet exploding. Apologies for that again.
Come here, Frank.
Here comes Frank for a tiny little yawn prediction.
He came in. He clearly knew his time was.
Frank, yawn if Bottas is getting pole. Frank, yawn if Verstappen is getting pole. Frank, yawn if Hamilton is getting pole. Frank, yawn if Perez is getting pole. Frank, yawn if Norris is getting pole.
Wow, big Gasly fan.
Norris or Gasly, one or the other. Oh, look at his little face.
Look at his little face.
I feel like you have like a particular technique where you rub his belly and then he like yawns maybe 15 seconds later. So nice predictions, Matt. Thank you, Aidan. Look at him. Oh, little Frankie boo. Right. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you to everybody watching. And we will see you for another Team WTF1 exclusive. When? Monday?
Yeah, Monday. We will have you in the live chat.
Lovely stuff. Chris Cassells, we've already done our final thoughts. You
just joined
them. Just joined.
Are you asking Frank for his final thoughts? His final thoughts is yawn.
Yeah, yawn. Big yawn and big lick. There you go. Right, everybody. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.